Dear Amazulu, ngiyabathanda Amazulu, ngiyabathanda abantu basekhaya. This short documentary was made for education purpose, to educate other people who have no idea or not know what the Zulu was or the things a lot. And let's get to it. Zulu people, which is so-called Amazulu,
nendlela nje akhulume ngayo laphana kwagcina sekuvela obala ukuthi noma kuyena mhlawumbe ukuthetha lesicotho ngoba intombi kade selapha abezizimisele zona.
Pay respects to the leadership.
Zulu people, which is so-called Amazulu, refer themselves as people from the heaven. Now let's check heaven or sky. Now let's check the language and the culture and the beliefs of the Zulu people, Amazulu. The Zulu language, of which there are variation, and the Zulu is the part of the Nguni language group, but the word Zulu means heaven, image, and it defeated other clans. Shaka created many military tactics to defeat the enemy. He created the assegai, short ledge bladed stepping spear, and the lethal means utilize the weapon. Shaka also discarded his cowhide sandals and is hidden in a movement, hindered his movement. He proved to be a brilliant military leader and soon as became a threat to his clan. After the death of his mother, Nandi, he lost his mind. In the period of grief, Shaka had hundreds of Zulu killed. How did Shaka die? A lethal chief in his half-brother Dingani in form of the beardwag. The artists killed the beardwags, take part in the identification of the Zulu Christianity with the African Christianity, but they have the African churches, but there is also the major belief system. Now let's go to the history or origin of Zulu. The Zulu were original a major clan what is north was Zulu Natal, founded people or nation, or were called Isibongo, referring to their clan or family name. Nguni communities had migrated down to all people together in a clans to be the very cohesive of the identity of the Zulu Nation. Now let's get to the strengths of the Zulu Nation. The Zulu Nation growth in strength was based on the militia organization and its skills during the Shaka reign and that of his successors. The military was organized around ukubutwa, means to be enrolled system. We did away with initiation ceremony for the most part. Each age set or group of young men of the same age was assigned to the same regiment, ubuto singular, but in plural you call amabuto plural. According to the system, also girls were also subjects to ukubutwa, but they were usually assigned to an age group rather than regiment. The amabuto were housed in the military barracks, ikanda in singular, amakanda plural, which were located throughout the kingdom and under command of close relative or someone appointed by the king. And the barracks were designed and laid out similar to an umuzi, but on a much larger scale. Aside from militia duties, the izinsinzwa, means young men, were also responsible for repair and maintenance of the barracks. Now let's get to the kingdom of Shaka, to the kingdom in general of the Zulu. The Zulu formed a powerful state in 1816 under the leader Shaka. So Shaka is the Zulu commander of the Mtetwa Empire and a successor to Dingiswayo, united what was once confederation of the tribes into imposing empire under the Zulu hegemon. Shaka built a militarized system known as MP, featuring conscriptions a standing army, a new weapon, a regimentation, and the encirclement battle tactics. Zulu expansion was major factor of tiene, means crushing, that depopulated a large area of South Africa. Is during that period when Shaka deployed an army, regiments of raiding tribe on the north. The regiments, which was under Mzilikazi, disobeyed Shaka and crafted plan to continue raiding up north, forming another dialect of Zulu language referred to the Northern Ndebele, now is Zimbabwe. Now let's check a conflicts with the British. In the mid-December 1878, envoys of the British Crown delivered an ultimatum to 11 chiefs. So now, if you check in December 1878, envoys of the British Crown delivered an ultimatum to 11 chiefs representing then current king of the Zulu Empire. Under the British terms delivered to Zulu, would be required to disband his army and accept the British sovereign. Refused, and a war between Zulu and African contingents of the British Crown began on January 12 in 1879. Despite an early victory of the Zulu at the Battle of Umhlanga of 22nd January, the British fought back and won the battle at the Rocks Drift, and decisively defeated the Zulu army by July at the Battle of Ulundi. But that's not the end. Now let's go back to how Zulu won again. Now, absorption in the Natal. After Petreon capture a month following his defeat, the British divided the Zulu Empire into 13 kinglets. The sub-kingdom fought among each other, so that is called division Congo. See, they started to fight among each other until 1883 when Petreon was reinstated as a king of Zululand. This did not stop the fighting, and the Zulu monarch was forced to flee his realm by Zibebu, one of the 13 kinglets supported by Boer missionaries. Petreon died. Now Petreon ended up dying in 1884 February, killed by Zibebu regimes, leaving his son, who was 15 years old, Dinuzulu, to inherit the throne. In fighting between the Zulu continued for years until 1897. The Zululand was absorbed full by British colony. Now let's get to apartheid years, and we can check also the Zulu performing traditional warrior dance. Now, under the apartheid, the homeland of KwaZulu, which were created by the Zulu people, in 1970, the Bantu Homeland Citizenship Act provided that all the Zulu will become the citizens of the KwaZulu, losing their South African citizenship. KwaZulu consisted of many disconnected pieces of land in what now called KwaZulu Natal. So hundreds of southern Zulu people living in privately owned barracks parks outside the KwaZulu Natal were dispossessed and forcibly moved to Bantustan, which were the worst land previously reserved for whites contiguous to exist in the area of KwaZulu land. By 1993, approximately 5.2 million Zulu people lived in KwaZulu, and approximately 2 million lived in the rest of South Africa. The chief minister of KwaZulu from its creation in 1970 as a Zululand was the chief Mangosuthu Buthelezi. In 1994, KwaZulu was joined with the province of Natal to form modern KwaZulu Natal. Inkatha yesizwe. Okay, so these are the freedom parts. Now let's get to it.